online. Good evening, good morning, good day, dear viewers, wherever you are in Canada or around the world. I welcome you to this 7th program of the Afghan Association of Ontario on the subject of increasing awareness of discrimination, racism, and Islamophobia. This initiative of the Afghan Association of Ontario is in collaboration with the Government of Canada, who is partially funding it. In this 7th program, as some of you might have seen, we had invited a distinguished member of our community to share her expertise and experience on the subject of Islamophobia, hatred, and racism. Unfortunately, at the last minute, she had an emergency and she couldn't make it. So we are going to have this program between you and me. So you will be my guests, and I hope that wherever you are, you will share your comments and your questions in the comment section, and let's have a dialogue. So I welcome you, and at the same time, because this subject matter is so important for immigrant communities in Canada and around the world, wherever the immigrant communities are, they feel this kind of discrimination, racism, and in our case, Islamophobia, but it cannot be just limited to Islamophobia. Some people, they experience anti-Semitism. Some people experience, religious discrimination of different other religions. Our program, however, is focused on the experience of the Muslim community and specifically the Afghan community in Ontario. And we are trying to explore various aspects of this phenomenon that I generally refer to as the triangle of evil, which is racism, discrimination, and hate. In our case, that hate is expressed as Islamophobia. So I would appreciate if you share your comments with me here. You will ask some questions, and we can have this, instead of being a monologue, we'll have it a dialogue, and I will benefit from your ideas, and other people who will watch the replay of this program, they will benefit from it, and at the same time, you will benefit. If you have any questions, you ask the question, and I will try to answer it. Having said that, what I would like to do is, until I find that you have the courage to participate in this discussion, even though you can see me and I cannot see you, and your participation will be only through text in the comments, I would like to share some concepts and my ideas about Islamophobia, racism, and hate and discrimination. Specifically, what I would like to talk about is how we, as immigrant Muslims or second and third generation Muslims who are here in Canada and specifically in Ontario, what we can do on our part to stem the rise of this triangle of evil and to help the overall mainstream community to get rid of discrimination, to get rid of hatred, and to get rid of Islamophobia and racism altogether. Can we contribute to that, or are we so limited in our powers that we can do nothing? I think that we have many things that we can do, and today I want to share with you some concepts that I had done some research on and explored some possibilities in the past, and I want to bring them here and share them with you. Islamophobia is not a new phenomenon. It existed ever since Islam came into being. And there were people who were afraid of Islam, the fear of Islam. Islamophobia, or the fear of Islam, existed since the time of Prophet Muhammad. And migration also is not a new phenomenon. For the Muslims, immigration started when, for the first time, the Muslims who were persecuted in Mecca migrated to Medina. So what did they do in Medina to get rid of Islamophobia, to get rid of racism, and to get rid of discrimination? Obviously, we can have a broad look at it, but before we go to that concept, and for me to share that research with you, let me tell you a little bit about myself. By training and profession, I am a professional architect, and I have worked for over 30 years in the field of architecture. I am also an author, and I have written books on leadership and communication skills and high performance. And I am a community activist. I have been a community activist since university days, which was several decades ago. And I am still active in the community and try to serve. What I have found out that a community is like a building. And the members of that community are the building blocks of that building. So, how strong and sturdy that building is depends on the strength of the building materials and the building blocks that are used to erect that building. That is my idea. So, for a Muslim community, when they immigrate to the West, in Canada and Ontario, in the United States, or in Europe, for them to have a very strong and sturdy community or that building, then the members of that community have to be strong and sturdy building blocks. That will mean that the first thing that we as individuals, what we can do is to improve ourselves so that we fit in the appropriate place in that community and strengthen the community. You know, John F. Kennedy, in his inaugural speech when he became the president, in his speech, and I'm just paraphrasing, I don't remember the exact words, but he said that don't ask what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. And that is what I would like to ask you who are listening to this program now, or will be listening to it, to the replay, is that what can you do for the community so that the community is so strong that it is not affected by Islamophobia, it's not affected by racism, and it's not affected by discrimination. That is an important concept that I would like you to go with and think about. What can you do in order to strengthen the community, in order to become an ambassador for the Muslim community? Have you tried to be a good ambassador for the Muslim community so that other people from other communities and the mainstream Canadian society, when they see you, they are inspired by what you do as an individual. They are inspired by what you do as a community member. They are inspired by your contribution to the society. And then, obviously, you will be very much accepted in the society, and collectively, the power of Islamophobia will wither away. So coming from that concept, that a community is like a building, and we as individuals are the building blocks of that community. I want to come to what the early Muslims did when they immigrated from Mecca to Medina. What were some of the steps? And this is very surprising. When I was doing my research on community development and engagement, which I posted my findings in the month of Ramadan a few months ago. During the month of Ramadan, every day I posted one thing on community development and engagement as a diaspora. And I relied on that, what the early Muslims did when they came from Mecca to Medina. At that time, it wasn't called Medina, it was called Yathrib. But the steps that were taken, I call them the Medina model. And I would like to share them with you, which I think is still relevant to our situation here in Ontario and in Canada. The Medina model had five components. The number one component was self-growth. This self-growth included physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual growth. So, this was devised by Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him, when he asked the Muslims to migrate from Mecca, where they were persecuted, to Medina, and in order that they don't face the same problems in Medina, there were several steps that he took and he devised and advised the community to follow. Item number one was that he sent an ambassador to Yathrib in the name of Mus'ab bin Umair. Mus'ab bin Umair was a model servant leader. He was perhaps the first ambassador of the Muslim community. And as an individual, he represented the Muslim community and made a very good impression in Medina. And within 1 year, he was able to prepare the ground so that when the migrants came, the society was ready to receive them. Then the 5 steps came into being. So the first step was that every Muslim individual was asked to work on self-growth, both physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. That way, every Muslim became a very strong person and a very good building block. Instead of being a stumbling block for the Muslim community, it became a stepping block or a building block for the Muslim community. And the Muslim community in Canada, if they want to get rid of Islamophobia individually, this is what we can do also. The second thing was family focus. So Prophet Muhammad advised the Muslim community to focus on improving the status of the family, to focus on the family so that family members also benefit from self-growth, from this concept of self-growth, from that part where they grow physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So those are the 2 components of how to get rid of Islamophobia in Medina. The third component was literacy. So Prophet Muhammad devised that every Muslim, adult Muslim who is in Medina, should learn how to read and write, should be a literate member of the society. Again, it goes to self-growth. It goes to the fact that the individual will be the ambassador of the community. in that society. Today, most people who come here to Canada from the Muslim world are already literate. They can read and write. But literacy in today's sense means professionalism. It means that you excel in sciences, you excel in technology, you excel in medicine, in any other professions that are contemporary in today's world. If we excel there, then we will be great ambassadors for our community. You can look in the Canadian society and you will find some model communities that exist that are not Muslim, but they have followed this model and their members are very good and strong building blocks of their community. We took care of three elements, three components of the Medina model. The fourth component of the Medina model was economic and financial well-being. You may notice that most other religions have one pause day, where on that day they don't do anything. They take time off and they relax. The Christian community, for them, it is Sunday. It's the day of reflection. It's the day where they go to the church and they don't go to their regular works. For the Jewish community, it is Saturday. And then other religions have adopted the world orders, whether they do it mostly on Sundays. It's a pause day. The Muslim community, however, don't have a full pause day. It is said in the Islamic texts and literature that even after the Friday prayers, have asked the devotees to go and spread in the land and produce economic services and products. It is that much powerful, this issue, this fourth component of the Medina model is a very powerful component. And that means that you work for the economic and financial well-being of yourself, your family, and the community. You will see in Canada minority communities coming from different places, but the most successful communities are those that follow the Medina model, the four things that we have so far covered. And that is self-growth, focus on self-growth, become a good, strong, and sturdy building block of your community. Focus on the family and try that there is harmony in the family and family members also reach their full potential. Literacy or learning the contemporary knowledge, become a learned person in the community. Learn what are the contemporary sciences, technologies, arts, and medicine, whatever it is. Try wherever your talents lie, wherever you are talented and your passions, take that profession and excel in it. That is the concept of literacy in the 21st century, where we are living now in Ontario. The fourth component is economic and financial well-being. You will see that communities that are successful excel in all of these four things. And then the fifth component, which is the last component I want to share with you, that is engaging in civic activities. Prophet Muhammad advised all Muslims to participate actively in the well-being of Medina at that time and of that society in Medina. And they convinced also the other communities, the other non-Muslim communities, to adopt the same principles, that civic activity was very, very important. So what we can do here now is, instead of going into a ghetto and create a ghetto because we are afraid of the mainstream community, of the mainstream society, that they will influence us and lead us astray, that I think is the wrong approach to the problem of Islamophobia. It will increase Islamophobia the more you withdraw from the mainstream society. But if you are a strong, sturdy building block of the Muslim community in Canada, of the Afghan community in Ontario, then you will be a grown-up physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and you will not be the effect of your environment, but you will be the cause of your environment. If you become a strong ambassador, then the community will understand, the mainstream society will understand how good a positive contribution can the Muslims do to the society. And this is the best way that we as individuals and collectively, we can fight Islamophobia, we can fight racism, and we can fight discrimination and hate. If we expect to be accepted and respected by the mainstream society, then we have to reciprocate. We have to accept and respect the mainstream society. This is called pluralism. And in my personal and humble opinion, Islam is the religion of pluralism. In Islam, there are so many different schools of thought that accept each other, that have so many things in common, and they don't take the differences that they have between them into conflicts, but they look at it as a variety that enriches the total community and the society. So this session today will not be full 30 minutes. I want to make it short because our guest didn't come, and I don't want to make it a complete monologue that will bore you to death. So I will cut my program now. Here, I think I would like you to go with those two concepts that I shared with you. Concept number one is that a community is like a building, and you, the individual, is like the building block of that community. The strength and sturdiness of that community depends on how strong building block you have become. Can you resist the pressures? The building has the pressures of earthquakes, wind, environment, rain, storms, etc. And some buildings withstand. Those whose building blocks are not strong enough, they collapse. So a strong community can resist that kind of pressure if its members are strong and sturdy. Concept two was the Medina model that I shared with you. And the Medina model that was used by early Muslims when they migrated from Mecca to Medina, and is now used by all successful migrant communities in today's world. We can have many examples here in Canada. We can have examples in the United States, in Europe. And you will find out that the 5 components of the Medina model are used by these strong communities. And those who are weak and don't have influence in the society, you will find out that they are lacking in 1, 2, 3, or all of those 5 components of the Medina model. So I hope you enjoy this. I hope you find it beneficial, and I hope you will share this with your friends and your colleagues so they can benefit also. And if you have any suggestion on it, please have your comments in this section on the comments. And then what we can do is perhaps we will respond to them. So I would like to acknowledge again that this initiative of the Afghan Association of Ontario is in collaboration with the Government of Canada, and we appreciate that the Government of Canada is partially funding the program. In this program, we bring members of the immigrant community, specifically from Afghanistan and the Muslim world, to share their expertise and their experience of racism, discrimination, and Islamophobia. And if you want to contribute, if you want to be guest on this program, please send me a message, make a comment here that you would like to do, to participate, or send me a message through Messenger. My name is Ahmad-Shah Duranai, and I have a Facebook timeline and the same name Messenger, so you can send me a message there, direct message, and then I will get in touch with you, and perhaps we can invite you so that you can come be our guest and share your experience and expertise in these three things that we want to get rid of, the triangle of evil: racism, discrimination, and Islamophobia, or hatred in whatever form it comes, whether that hatred is directed against Muslims, or it's directed against the Jewish people, or it's directed against the African Americans, or it's directed against, based on race, based on religion, based on language or community, or whatever form it has. It is hate, and we want to get rid of. We want to curtail it in the society. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for spending this time with me. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you, even if you didn't enjoy it, you found these concepts that I shared with you as mind triggers, and that you will find them beneficially and you will ponder about them. Thank you very much. Until next week, where we hope to have a guest with me, so I can so that I can just ask questions rather than put my ideas. So we are going to stop the live stream, and thank you very much for listening. I really appreciate your time, and again, I request that you will share this on your social media pages so that more people find out about it. Thank you very much.